tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen. And as always, we have a lot to talk about. The Knicks play that last preseason game Friday. Not sure if I'm going to watch it. My Liberty play Friday night for an opportunity to win the chip, the first in 25, 26 years, as being one of the original franchises in the WNBA. So I'll catch that preseason game some other time if I watch it at all. Tuesday, though, is the real thing. The Knicks play Boston in Boston. So tonight, we're doing our season preview. We're going to talk about expectations for each player. Who do we think is going to take a leap this season? You know, where are we going to rank offensively, defensively? We'll talk about team wins. We'll talk about where we think we're going to end up in the Eastern Conference and so much more, like who'll make an all-star team, all of that. But all of the conversation is in the context of winning a chip. That's it. How are we going to win this chip this season? So we're going to talk about that as well. Mondays, I will be back on Nothing But Knicks. Queen's Court starts. I'm looking forward to that. And the game recap shows are returning after each Knick game, but it will not be in the morning. It will be at lunchtime. So the first one will be Wednesday. So join me on your lunch break. I'll do it from, I'm going to say 12, starting at 12:30, maybe 12:45. So join me on your lunch break for the recap shows. We got a lot of other things happening on the channel. Anyway, let's get the crew in. Jerrell, diehard Giants live podcast. Ajay, the villain, who will be manning the chat this week and every week. And Geoff Klafter, resident panelist. Geoff actually has a blog, so that information is down in the description of the show. So be sure to check that out. I'm on IG. I haven't posted anything yet, but I will be posting soon. So subscribe to the show, DopeSoulSports.life. I'll be talking about the Knicks. But if you're also interested in, my travels and things like that, I'll also be posting my travel pictures. So shout out to Jamaica, 9 days in Jamaica, great time. Kingston, Mandeville, Negril, Ocho Rios, Savannah, Lamar, had a great time. The food was good, the people was good, the weather was good. Rainy season, but I think it rained maybe once, so had a great time out in Jamaica. All right, how's everybody? Shout out to the chat, by the way. How's the fellas doing? How you guys?
Salute, Steph, Ajay, Jeff. Happy to be here always. Dope Soul Thursday. Salute to the chat.
Yeah, same here, man. Always a pleasure and an honor to be here, hanging out with you, wonderful co-hosts, talking about the Knicks, our favorite team. We'll sneak a little liberty in there too, right?
We'll sneak a
little bit of liberty in there.
We'll start with the liberty. For those of us who watch the game, yeah. What's your thoughts? I the way they came out, I was like, I don't believe this shit. And they said it. They said they knew they were going to come out hard. They're at home, so we expected it. You couldn't tell. The next thing you know was a 15-point lead. But shout out to the Liberty. They never gave up. Just kind of stayed in the game. And Stewie in that third quarter was just unbelievable in terms of just bringing us back into the game. And then UNESCO closed it out with a shot that, like she said, she practices it. And it showed. Yeah.
Yep. I know Sabrina got a lot of the press at the end of the game, but if you actually watch the game, it was Stewie. Stewie was the one who led them. Like some of them couldn't hit nothing. Like they had a couple bad shooting nights, but Stewie was all world. Like looked like she couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, but not just offensively, defensively. Those blocks, key rebounds, on the floor. I said, "Wow, she was all over the place."
And I think she played the most minutes too. Like, seemed like she played the whole game. I don't even remember. I think I remember her being off the court like a couple times, but she played a lot of minutes to me. Yeah, I haven't checked the stats, but it seemed like she played more than 35 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
Queen, when Jones, I don't know, something happened in that corner there on the left side. She fell in the corner on her knee. She couldn't get up. I was like, what the? Oh, I was like, oh my God, no, we're gonna lose this one. I don't know what the hell happened, but
and then always bringing the ball down, getting tied up. I'm like, Jones, come on now, come on. We've been talking about this all season, But she came back and hit that big three.
Yeah. With no hesitation too. Like she just like. This is automatic on that three.
Yeah, that did. Yeah, that was a heartbreaker for them. Hopefully they'll rebound, but that might have took a little something out of them, like a body blow. So we have an opportunity to close it out tomorrow. If not, Game 5 Sunday. But I'm hoping the Liberty are not relying on Game 5. Anything can happen.
Yeah, we need that chip. Go get it. Like, don't mess around. Just end it.
Yeah. Closeout games are the hardest, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
That team is desperate to stay in it, right?
Right. But then the Liberty win. Then the fellas know what that parade look like.
Yeah. Liberty.
We'll see, though. I'm not touching the money. I'm not saying we winning yet. I'm saying if it does happen, might be a little foreshadowing for what the Knicks can do. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. All right. Before we get into, I want to do the expectations for each player, and we're gonna keep it succinct because it's a lot of players.
Yeah.
But. So yeah, let's just start. I was going to do something else first, but let's just start with that, and let's just start right at the top. What are your expectations for Jalen Brunson this season? Do you think he can get better? Do you think he has more to prove? Do you think there's a lot of pressure on him? What's your expectations for him this season, or is it just to duplicate what he's already done? Jerrell, Ajay, Geoff. Then we'll start with Geoff the next time. We'll mix it up.
Okay.
Leave a little meat on the bone. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I don't know. I hope he actually doesn't strictly just duplicate what he did last season, because hopefully he wouldn't have to do what he did last season. Like Jalen Brunson, at the end of the day, he's still a point guard. So I hope he has more help around him, that he doesn't have to average almost 30 points a game. Because I think if he continuously start doing that, then he might break down a little bit faster. I don't want to see that. He did it last season. I'm pretty sure it was a toll on him, especially coming from playing the internationally before last summer. He had the summer off, had surgery on his wrist. I just hope that, he doesn't have to carry this team like he kind of carried us last year. Hopefully Cat can stay healthy. Bridges could add some scoring as well. OG, with the last game that they played, well, not the very last one. Last time the starters played, OG looked like he might could be ready for a step up, but he has to do that consistently. So hopefully Jalen Brunson doesn't have to carry us, but I still think that he's capable of doing it, but I don't want him to. Like, I want him to be fresh in the playoffs. I want everybody to be healthy. Hopefully, I expect another All-Star season from him. Hopefully, an All-NBA team. I expect his assists to go up. But other than that, it'll be a little bit of the same. Like, he's our captain. I don't think anything is going to change with his game or the way that he approaches the game. But I just hope that he doesn't have to carry the team. I don't want him to replicate, him almost have to be Allen Iverson. Like, we're not that Philadelphia team. We have a little bit more scoring than we did last time.
Yeah. Ajay?
So, and I'm thinking about this as Jerrell is talking, right? So kind of the things kind of don't match, right? If he doesn't have to do as much, he doesn't have to score as much, he's not gonna be seen as not him. This season for him is not gonna be seen as a all-star as much as an all-star season as it was last time. Last time he had to do a lot more because of the cast of players that he had with him. That kind of propelled him to. So I still expect him to be an all-star, but not in the MVP conversation because he has more help now. He doesn't have to do as much. And you know how this league is. If you're not out there being the flashy guy, doing all that, all the being the savior, you're probably not going to be seen as, none of that MVP stuff. He has more help now. So for the team is better, but for him individually, I don't think it's going to be the same thing. Basically what I'm saying is in order for him to look better than he did last year, it has to be like tenfold because he has better players with him. He has more help. He has Mikal Bridges doing a lot more, helping him more. You got a healthy OG Anunoby. You got Cat, who with better spacing, a better 3-point shooter and all that stuff. So because Jalen Brunson, if he has to look as good or better than he did last year, it's going to take a whole lot. I don't think he can accomplish that. I expect him to be an all-star. I just don't expect him to be in that MVP conversation like he was last year because of he has a better team around him. So,
yeah. Geoff, your thoughts?
I actually think he might get better, and the reason I think he will is because I think he's going to be able to put up the same stats he did last year without having to work as hard. I think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be able to unlock easier shots for him. I think he's going to get a lot more of a diet of wide open threes, like he did when Julius Randle was healthy last year. And so I think from that standpoint, I don't think he's going to have to work as hard, but I think he's going to be able to produce similar statistical profile, maybe even a little bit better. And if he does that, to me, that keeps him in the MVP conversation. He's one of the best players in the league, and I just think with what we can do now between the pick and rolls that we can run with he and Cat and the 5-out spacing that we can do, I think it's going to be a better season for him than last year.
Yeah, I think one of the things to be careful about with Brunson is it's because of his talent and the pressure he puts on the defense that opens things up for other guys. So I don't expect his approach to the game to change. I just think that there's better options when he's reading the defense. There's just better options to pass to. Like, I don't want him to turn into a facilitator. And I don't think anybody on this panel is saying that. I still want him to play his game. But obviously, when he gets in the key to do his thing, if there's rotations, and there will be, there's just better players open. Just better players open. And if he makes those passes, those players have a a better chance of knocking them down than the guys that we had before. No no disrespect to them, but it's important that he stays aggressive, and it's important that he doesn't um change his game up. Same process, the same thought process. Because we have more help, but I don't see any of those guys being guys that you can put the ball in their hands and be like, get me a basket. Like those are all guys that's going to play off of Jalen Brunson. Now, Mikal Bridges might be able to get a basket. OG may be able to get a basket here and there, but I mean consistently, get a basket. That's still Jalen Brunson. So he does have to figure out, I think, a bit more because he does have more help. When should he shoot? When should he pass? Which is, I think, the process for all shoot first point guards. Have to, have to figure that out. But yeah, this is going to be a delicate balance between getting others involved and not making it easy for other teams. Because if Brunson just kind of like, whatever, becomes a district, he's making it easy for other teams if he's not aggressive. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think there's a lot of pressure on Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. It's one thing to be that feel-good story, that second-round pick who's made it and became an all-star and was in the MVP conversation. It's a totally other level of criticism and expectation to be the best team, the best player on a championship contending team. Like that's another level. You think about the flack that Embiid is getting in Philadelphia after years and years of being the best player on a championship contending team and not winning it, not even getting out the second round. If that's the Knicks for the next few years, there's going to be a lot of criticism of Jalen Brunson as well, whether or not he can be that number one guy. So I think the pressure is definitely on him. I still put my money on him, but the pressure is on. So the expectation is really for him to duplicate, not necessarily statistically, but to duplicate what he did last year, like to show that, even with the expectations, even with an improved Eastern Conference, I'm still that dude. Now, that don't mean go out there and go crazy. You still got to lead your team. You still got to, make sure everybody gets involved. But yeah, I do think he has more, more to prove. Any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think that's true, but I also think that he loves the pressure. That's just who he is. I mean, he welcomes that. I think he wants that challenge. That's why he's here. I mean, everybody said he was not even a top 15 point guard. Everybody said that he was this. Everybody said that he was that. And all he does is prove people wrong and prove people wrong. So I think he uses the doubters as fuel. So I'm not overly concerned about that part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Jalen Brunson welcomes the pressure, just like Geoff said. Like he know what it is. Like you're the captain of the New York Knicks, and we have a good team. Regardless of who that person was, it would be a ton of pressure, whether it was Jalen Brunson or not.
No doubt about it.
Like if you're the leader of the New York Knicks and you have a good team, there is going to be pressure. Right. It is what it is. There's no escaping it.
Right.
So I he has no choice but to embrace it. And like Geoff said, I think that's the reason he came here in the first place.
Yeah. That is something I'm going to be watching very closely to just see how he performs this season with those expectations. Tatum got it,
Yep.
Embiid We can go down the
Mhm.
line. Giannis, until he won it. I'm not sure about Denver and Joker. I'm not that plugged in. But those guys got a lot of criticism until they finally won it. So just seeing how he performs under those expectations is something I'm looking forward to. Let's move on to Towns. What's your expectation of him this season, Jeff?
Got to stay healthy, man. We need him. I actually think that if they play him mostly at the 5, he's going to be third team All NBA. I think you got Joker. I think you got Embiid, and then I think he'll be right there with them. I think he's one of the best offensive players in the game. He can score inside, he can score outside, and I think he's going to be tougher defensively than a lot of people think. He can command a double team because he can score with his back to the basket, and he can draw his defender out of the paint, which is even better for Jalen Brunson. So I think he unlocks a lot of things, and I'd love to see a lot of screen and roll with him and pick and pop with him and Brunson.
Yeah. And Jeff also, out of those double teams, he's a really good passer. So he's going to be able to create shots for his teammates around him. And I'm not sure about that 2-man game, but if he can get Brunson on some catch and shoots, that would be nice as well. He could definitely hit guys going back door. And the All NBA teams are positionless now. So you can have Embiid, the Joker, and Cat all on, all on one team. So I agree with you. I think he could have a monster season, particularly if he gets better defensively, which I expect under Tom Thibodeau he will. Yeah. Ajay, your expectations for Cat, what you wanna see from him?
Like Jeff said, if he could stay healthy, he's going to have a tremendous season, tremendous. And I too expect him to be better on the defense. Not that he's not a scrub on defense, but with the Tom Thibodeau constantly grilling and in his ear about the defense, I think he's going to put in the effort to become a better defender. But Jeff, you feel like he's going to, if he plays the 5 most of the time, he's going to be. I think if somehow let's say we get Mitch back in good form and we have him at the 4. I think it's gonna be a done deal. Like, it's gonna be a problem for every team in the NBA if you have Mitch at the 5 and Cat at the 4. Because right now, when he starts at the 5, you have OG at the 4, and then you have Josh Hart playing the 3. So picture for a moment, you have Mitch, Cat, and OG, Mikal Bridges, and Brunson. I mean, that is a starting lineup right there. That's gonna be a lot.
Which end of the floor, though? On the defensive end of the floor, yes, but not on the offensive end of the floor.
I think on both. I mean, because you're basically taking out Josh Hart at the 3 and putting Mitchell Robinson at the 5. So you're not really taking out any scoring on offense, but you're taking out Josh Hart. You know what I'm saying? But you do have.
You think Mitch and Josh Hart are equivalent offensively?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Josh Hart is not going to give you a lot of points.
But listen, it's not about. First of all, he's going to give you more points than Mitchell Robinson in the flow of the offense, but also you got to guard him a little bit. I hear what you're saying. That there have been times and we saw it in the playoffs that they was play off of him a little bit, but he can also attack the rim. On offense. So,
Queen, if you have Cat at the 4, okay, Mitchell Robinson at the 5, there's going to be a lot of putback opportunities for Mitchell Robinson.
Well, that's the case no matter what. No matter what, he's a elite.
No, if you have two big bodies down there, I mean, we're going to be killing people on the offensive glass. And not to say that Josh Hart doesn't help. He does help. But it's different when you have those 2 guys, those towers, big towers up there, grabbing rebounds. Then Josh Hart coming in, At least
You're
that's the way
talking
I see it.
offensive rebounds.
Yes.
Okay, I get that. I get that. But I would prefer to have an offense that's drawing the defender out, and there's nobody in the key. When you have Mitchell Robinson and Cat playing together, you have somebody in the dunker spot because Mitch guy doesn't have to come into the key out of the key. He's going to be right there. So that takes away the backdoor cuts because Mitchell's guy is gonna is gonna be there. Maybe you can get a lob, So I don't think our offense is at its best with Mitch and Cat. Now, is it an option that I would like Tibbs to have if Mitch is healthy so that we can go through that? Yes, I definitely want to have that option. But I don't think we're at our best on the offensive end with Mitch and Cat because what Cat is bringing in terms of his spacing the floor is being taken away with Mitch right in the middle, with Mitch guy right in the middle.
Queen, I see problems with Josh Hart at the 3. And I'm not. I listen. I'm judging on the preseason games, but I see the hopefully it gels better. The chemistry gets better, but right now he doesn't seem comfortable in that spot.
No,
And
it
kind of throws everybody off. I mean, we're winning games. Bottom line is we still winning, but you could see they're not comfortable in what they're doing.
Right. But it's going to look the same way with Mitch and Cat. Initially, anyway. Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying. If we had a Trey Murphy at the 3 or somebody like, yeah, I mean, I don't think is I don't think it's ideal, but I don't. And I agree with you in the sense that I want us to have that option, but I don't know. Let Geoff, Jerrell, your thoughts. What's your preference? Cat at the 5 or Cat and Mitch and Josh coming off the bench?
Well, I would definitely want him at the 5. We know what him at the 4 looks like, and that's part of the reason why it didn't work with Minnesota and Rudy. Because at the end of the game, you're going to have to take Mitch out anyway. So I don't really think that's a real, like you said, it'll happen in spurts, but to start both of them and have them play most of the minutes together, I don't think Tom Thibodeau is going to do that. Like that's exactly what Minnesota did. And that's part of the reason they couldn't advance because you have to take Rudy just like Mitch out of the game in the fourth quarter. Because they don't have any type of offensive games. Like I can see if Mitch had a little bit of offensive game, like if he had if he was a little bit of a threat, then yes, I would totally agree with Ajay and Cat would flourish at the 4. I think he will flourish at either spot because he's a good player. But the reason that you can't start them both at the same time, you can start them, but if you're going to play major minutes with both of them, then Steph is right. The offense would not look the same as when Josh Hart is in there because Josh Hart can at least, even if he's not scoring, he can at least facilitate. He can at least move. He can at least do other stuff that Mitch can't do on the offensive end. But can they play together? Yes. But for the most part, in crunch time, Mitch is going to be on the bench regardless. So it really doesn't matter like who starts. It all matters who's finished. So who finishes, Cat is going to be at the 5 all the time.
Yes, especially with Mitch's with his foul, with his free throw.
Yeah, he can't play in the fourth quarter. So
yeah, I hear you.
But they could definitely play together at times. Yes, definitely they should. I like the Twin Tower thing. It's just the skill set of Mitch. I wish he was that size with a little, offensive skill. Then the conversation completely changes. It's just like Rudy. It was part of the reason that a lot of people didn't like Cat and Rudy together because Rudy doesn't have any offensive game, just like Mitch. So it'll be the same thing.
Right. And even in terms of not just scoring, in terms of just moving the ball along on offense, like being able to swing the ball, being able to hit a cutter, like those sorts of things, it's just not there. Geoff, you want to comment on that before we move on to?
I'm not putting Mitchell Robinson in much of my calculus for this season. He's going to miss at least till January. And when he gets back, I think he's going to be a 15-minute a game player off the bench until he gets traded. I don't think Mitchell, and I love Mitchell Robinson, you know that, but I think this front office has shown they want the players they handpicked, and I think that this team has some needs maybe at the backup 4 spot, and maybe a 3-4. They want someone with a little more positional versatility, and he's the biggest salary that they can send out in a trade. So I love Mitchell Robinson. I don't think he's going to be a major factor for this team as far as a championship title push.
All right. Let's move on to Mikal Bridges. He was a third option in Phoenix, the first option in Brooklyn. Now he's coming back to a team in which he's probably the second or third option. Through preseason, I'm not really seeing at least the role I envisioned, for him, and it could just be taking him some time to find his footing. But OG to me is looking more offensive minded than Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is looking to me almost like the utility guy, But do you think he shines? Do you think this is just him getting used to it? And do you think when it's all said and done, he's going to be that third scorer for the Knicks? Ajay, we'll start with you.
I mean, judging on the preseason, again, I expect the chemistry to get better. Right now, I don't. Everybody looks uncomfortable. Believe it or not, Queen, I think the bench guys look more comfortable than the starters. And because they're playing loose and like they really out there freelancing. But the chemistry to me is not there yet. And so the coach Tibbs and his staff, they got a lot of work to do to get these guys all gelling. Mikal Bridges, yeah, I mean, you could see the skill set, you could see the determination, you could see all that, but it's just not working yet. It's still looking awkward. Listen, tomorrow's the last game of the preseason, and they have a couple of days to get it together before before we start with the real deal. So I expect them to get better, like real quick, because these guys are professionals. And when it's all said and done, Mikal Bridges, he definitely going to be the third. He's going to turn to that third scorer, and some nights he's going to be the second best. The second best scorer on the team, because he's very capable of doing it. But once they get it together, it's going to be it's going to be nice to watch.
Do you think he takes on more ball handling responsibilities? Last season, it was Brunson. You see Devo in Minnesota playing backup point guard, 7 assists in a game. I was like, yo, he could have been playing backup point guard with us. Like, what's up with Tibbs? And we talk about that. Like, Tibbs wants the ball in Brunson's hand all the time. Do you think Mikal Bridges, is that secondary ball handler for us and handles the ball a bit more?
Not necessarily. If you have Josh Hart could bring up the ball. We've seen him do it a lot of times. So it's going to be Brunson's going to have the ball like most of the time. But when those three guys on the floor, the second ball handler could be either Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges. Okay. So because we don't have, you're not, OG Anunoby's not going to do it, and you don't have Cat's not going to do it. So those three guys are going to be the main guys bringing up the ball.
Okay. I mean, Jerrell, I'll ask you this question, and then you can also talk about Bridges. Do you think there's a difference, though, between bringing the ball up? Because I agree with Ajay. Both Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges can bring the ball up the court.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think there's a difference between bringing the ball up the court and being that secondary ball handler that can actually initiate some sets for us?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, it's definitely a difference between bringing the ball up and actually initiating our offense. I've seen him do it a little bit in Brooklyn, so I'm comfortable with him doing that, especially when he was the number one option there. I don't think he's as comfortable doing it as Brunson, obviously, but could he be just the main person when Brunson, like the non-Brunson minutes that we always talk about? Yes, he can definitely initiate the offense and be the number one option, whether he's actually doing the scoring or not. I think he knows basketball well enough that he can do that.
Yeah. And what's your expectations for him this season, whether that includes scoring or not?
I actually think I might be a little, I might be by myself, but I actually think that he's our X factor. Like, I think he's going to be an all-star this year. He hasn't made an all-star team yet. He's been a fringe all-star a couple years, but I actually think he's going to have an incredible year. I think the addition with Cat makes his game even more when he could, he's never played with a big man that could space the floor like that, whether he was with the Suns or Brooklyn. So I think that Mikal Bridges is going to have a coming out party, which means a lot because he was the number one option for a year and a half in Brooklyn. But now that he's with us and he doesn't have to have that pressure with scoring, because when I call him an all-star, I think he's going to be one of the best two-way players in the league to me. I think he's going to make an all-defensive team, whether it's 1 through 3 or whatever team. I think he's going to be acknowledged for that because we're going to be winning games and we're going to be on TV a lot. I think he's going to be a household name. I like Mikal Bridges with us going forward.
Okay. You're very, very high on him in terms of what he's going to do next season. I hear you. I ain't mad at all.
And plus, we're going to get to OG and we're going to talk about his injury history. Mikal Bridges is an Iron Man. He's never going to miss games. Hopefully, knock on wood, he won't have, a freak injury. But, throughout his time in college, throughout his time in the pros, he doesn't miss games. So for us, that's going to be major when you can have somebody on both sides of the court that can do that for all 82 games, even if he misses a couple games just because of rest or whatever. Like, he's the type of person that probably will play all 82 and be effective on both sides of the court.
Right.
Man, that man played 83 games last 2 seasons ago.
Yep, 83 because he got traded. And then the team that he went to, he was the number one option and still was a good defender. So, yeah, I think he's going to work wonders for us.
Yeah. All right, Geoff, your thoughts on Mikal Bridges and what
I
you
want to
see?
piggyback on what Jerrell said. Last year when we acquired Dante DiVincenzo, a wise young lady I know said that she thought he had something extra in the bag and that he was going to have a big season. And she turned out to be exactly right. And we saw DiVincenzo set the franchise record for 3-pointers and be this high volume, savant from 3-point range. Well, I think it's Bridges' turn. I think he's a better player than DiVincenzo. Maybe not the better shooter, but a better player. And I think he has enough of the shooting chops, and he's going to get enough good looks, and he's going to get enough situations where he can operate one-on-one with space that he's going to be very effective and deadly. I think it may take 20 games or so. I think he's not going to come in and try and, just take the ball and be like, this is my team or whatever. But I think if the season gets along and he gets more comfortable with his teammates, I think he's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. This is I really want him to have his time with that second unit. Away from Cat, away from Brunson, and that may not even be much of an issue now with the Landry Shamet injury. I'm not sure where it is with that, but we was going to be running that 3-guard lineup, which meant that he would have had to run, at the 4. If Shamet can't go, and not, hopefully he can, he'll be in that starting unit. Excuse me, he can run with that second unit as well, and that's where we can really see his skills in terms of being able to bring the ball up the court, being able to create his shot for himself, create a shot for others. coming into the season, I definitely thought he can be a third option with a second option ceiling, right? I just haven't seen much of it in the preseason. So I'm, hopefully, things will change. Like Ajay said, they're just really trying to find their footing. One of the things I was surprised at, what I didn't know, was that he does post up. Even though it's a turnaround jumper, he ain't overpowering nobody now. but he does post up, and with his length and his wingspan to be able to shoot over guys. So I actually like that about him. Let's get to the chat a little bit. We probably won't be able to do a lot of chat because we have so much to cover. So let's just do a little bit of the chat, Ajay.
Shout out to Josh, aka Uncle Folio, and thanks for the super chat. He says,
he sent this again, or this is one that's still up from the other day?
"Oh, it could be up from the other day because I see the time on it. Yeah, up from the other day. But how is that still in there, though, Queen?
Because it's a reusable.
Dagger had a super chat.
Oh, okay.
It's a reusable studio, so I'm gonna have to go in and clean out the
Oh, yeah, clean that up.
Clean out the comments. Yeah.
Right,
but Paris Duggar there was a super chat from Paris Duggar from today.
From today. Shout out to Paris Duggar. Thanks for the super chat. Said Jaylen Brunson is 12th on the 100 player list, so no worry.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that.
Y'all see we have 5 people on that list? When we were the only team, I think, in the league with 5 people on it.
I didn't see it. That's great.
Yeah, I think Mitch was the last one. Like, he's like 80 something, like high 80s. I think he was 82, but like we have 5 people on that list. We're the only team with 5.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Cool.
That's awesome. All right. So, and sorry, I was trying to do a little cleanup here from the other stuff. Carrie Cox, shout out to Carrie Cox, says, "What is the word on Landry Shamet?" I think we just touched up on that a little bit. I don't think we don't have any real official update.
Let me check
from the team
if something came out today, but
yeah, I don't know officially. I kind of assumed, to be honest, that he just won't be on the team. Like, that looked pretty bad. Like,
yeah,
I don't see him. I don't see him being on the roster after that, unfortunately. But I think if he wouldn't have got hurt, he would have made it.
Yeah. I do think if you get injured on these Exhibit 9 or 10 contracts, they do have to guarantee your salary, if I'm not mistaken.
Do they?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I don't know if that means you can't replace them. Like, that part I don't know. Is it just you have to pay them, but you still free up a roster spot, or what?
I don't know. Maybe we'll get into who we think that person should be, though.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
All right. So, shout out to Coach. Says Brunson MVP candidate, won't win, but should get some votes. What do you guys think? Yeah, MVP.
You just want us to call him the MVP, don't you? That's why you smiling right now.
No, listen.
You just want us to say
no,
yes.
I would love. I don't see it though, because like I was saying earlier, he has. It's going to be spread out, but I would be really happy if he's in that conversation, because it's always good to have a nigga.
To be honest, we just got to win games.
Yeah,
we win games that he will be in that conversation, because he's going to be the main reason we're winning games. So if we win games, we have a high seed. Just like this past year, he was in the conversation. He'll be in the conversation again.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
I got a double, a part 1, part 2 from Sherwin. Shout out to Sherwin. Says Vegas now have the Knicks down to 50 wins. That is what I have. That's what I've been saying. What did they have the Knicks before the trade? I don't even know.
I think 52.5 or 53.
Oh yeah, now they have them at 50. And part 2 from Sherwin. Gilbert Arenas, K Martin, the bunch think the same thing. I was telling you guys, we got fleeced by Minnesota. Randall's a better player. Listen, if that bunch says Randall's a better player than Cat, then you know what? I'm all for the trade. That means Cat's better, because that bunch is usually completely off. Like I've never seen them say anything, especially Arenas. Kmart sometimes got some good take, but Gilbert Arena, I've said this before here. It's hard to believe that guy. He was a good basketball player, and he was really good. But I don't know. I've never heard him say anything that actually makes sense, in terms of being analyzing the game. So if they saying that, then that was a good trade for the Knicks.
I think Gilbert Arenas is fully embracing being a content creator.
Right.
And he says stuff that he knows.
Clickbaiting.
A little bit. Not saying that he does it all the time. And I'm not sure that I'm not saying that he's lying about this, but I've heard him say a lot of stuff that I know that doesn't make sense. And he knows it doesn't make sense, but
yeah, because he was a good player, man. Gilbert Arenas was really good, man.
And plus last year, if you actually watched his, the last season of his show, because they go by season, because I watch his show just like I watched it today. It was a thing with him against the Knicks and Knicks fans last season. So he's just playing on that, I think. Kenyon Martin, like you said, Kenyon is really honest. He might be honest with this take. But the other guys on there, Rashad McCants, I think he likes the Knicks. He speaks highly of us and he likes to trade. Brandon Jennings, at first before it happened, he wanted us to trade for Cat, for Julius Randle. Mm-hmm. But then once it happened, I think he didn't like the Dante DiVincenzo had to go, like a lot of other people did.
Yeah.
So that's part of the main reason he didn't like the trade, not because of Cat, it's because of Dante DiVincenzo had to go.
That was my problem with the trade too.
Yep.
The DiVincenzo part.
Yep.
But this is what I will say. Okay. It's not even about whether Randle is better than Cat or Cat is better for Randle. Who's better for this team?
Right.
I think that's the most important thing. Who's the better pairing with Brunson? I think that's what's most important. And the front office felt that Cat was better for Brunson than Randle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's what that's what it comes down to. We talked about this in the other show. Cat doesn't have to be Randle. And if the fans in Minnesota are expecting Randle to be Cat, they're disappointed. Going to be disappointed. Randle has to be Randle. Cat has to be Cat. And whatever Cat doesn't do, we have to find somebody else on the roster who can do it. Like, he's not a ball handler like Randle was. He's a center. Randle was power forward. We have to find somebody else that that can handle the ball. So I think it really just comes down to who's better for the Knicks, and are the Knicks going to be a better team? Obviously, we're not going to have anything to compare it with because Randle's not on the team, and he didn't play with this team.
He didn't play with this team,
so to compare.
I wanted to see what this team could do, man, with the line we had. I got a couple more. Mm-hmm. Geoff and that net zero connection out here killing my ears.
Sorry, Cody. My bad. I got no control over it though. Country living.
Shout out to Cody J. I had to throw that in there, man. And then shout out to my guy Mega NYK. Support Dope Soul Sports Talk. Hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Right now, we're not doing too well with the likes. We have 81 watching, and last I checked was 32. Let me do a little refresh thing here. 40 out of 82 liking, man. All right, so there's another 42 holding back. I don't know why, but like my man Mega said, support. Hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Let everybody know what's going on over here at Dope Soul Sports Talk.
Yeah, no doubt. So what I'm understanding about Landry Shamet is that they're still waiting to hear, the severity of the injury, how long he's going to be out. This article is saying Marcus Morris and Reggie Bullock are free agents and could be viable options. Yeah.
I swear I saw Reggie Bullock on the bench. Remember I told you that I saw somebody on the bench and said, "Is that Reggie Bullock?"
Man, Reggie Bullock, that's crazy. Even with TJ Warren in a Knicks jersey already?
Yo, TJ Warren.
We
Man,
need shooting though. TJ Warren, I mean,
He could be off and on, but he can,
he
you
can
know.
score though.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's not like he can't shoot, but I'd rather have TJ Warren than Reggie Bullock.
me too.
Yeah.
But not
Let me tell you
Tibbs
something.
though.
Let me
Tibbs-
tell you about
Yeah.
right. Let me tell you about this front office. It just seems like they trying to lock it down this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's if there's another move. You know, Boogie was on Thursday, and I'm not saying he has Tuesday that he has inside knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
but he was pretty confident that the Knicks were going to do something to shore up the bench. So we shall see. Bench definitely took a hit.
It wouldn't it have to be after Mitch comes back though, so he can be traded? Like, unless you think that somebody will actually, not want him, because it's not like he wouldn't be wanted, but he's injured now. So seemed like he would have to be healthy. Teams will see how he's coming along, and then before the trade deadline, try to make a move. No?
Yeah, maybe. And Precious is also available in December.
Ajay, see, you about
There
to
you
piss
go.
Ajay off though already.
There you go, Queen.
And he
There
played
you
well.
go.
Precious. I mean, we'll talk about Precious
Yeah, he
soon.
did.
He played
There
really
you
well.
He did.
In the game. But let's get to OG Anunoby and talk a little bit about him and what he brings to the team. This is his little intro music.
What's that? The ambulance?
Oh,
His little intro.
oh, wow.
Before we start,
I had to mute my mic from laughing, yo. You gave OG the ambulance music.
let's get into
That's a good one.
let's get into my guy OG Anunoby.
Oh, man,
Oh
that's
my
funny.
God.
That's crazy stuff.
What have you seen in the preseason? What's your expectation, for him this season? Is he just going to be a defensive-minded guy, or do we need him to score? Like, what are you seeing from him? What are you expecting from him? We'll start with you, Jerrell, then Geoff, and then Ajay.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I just expect OG just to be OG. I think he's going to be one of the best defenders in the league. I think he will have offense, not sporadically, but it'll be times when you don't even think OG is playing on offense. But then he looked like, a superstar from one game to the next. So I think he's going to be inconsistent on offense. He's going to be one of the best defenders in the league. And, it seemed like everybody, because just like the theme music that he had, is just waiting for him to get hurt. So hopefully whatever that injury is, it'll be minimum, and he can, finally have a season where he plays most of the games. And if he does that, then he's going to be one of the best wings in the league. It's just offensively, I don't expect him to be consistent, like be consistently aggressive. Because if he is, he's definitely one of the best two-way players in the league. Like we saw at the last game that the starters played in. Like he was almost their best offensive player at one point.
Yeah, he was. What's his ceiling compared to Bridges, if healthy?
If healthy, I still think Bridges is a better two-way player. They pretty much both do not exactly the same thing defensively, but they're both could be equal defenders. You could say that, but I think Bridges is way more advanced on the offensive end. So even with his ceiling, I don't think his ceiling will be necessarily this year. I think OG will get better and better. But a lot of that has to do with health, though. Like, I don't think he's going to get better if he can't work on his game and he can't play consistent minutes for a long period of time throughout a season. Like, if he can't play, if he's going to just completely I don't know if he gets hurt and he's only going to play 50 something minutes every season that he's here, then he's just going to be the same old. I don't see him getting better. Like he wouldn't be able to. He'd be rehabbing half the season, damn near. So if you're going to rehab every season, you can't really get better. You can't really ask a player to do that. So OG, I think he's going to be a good player. He has a high ceiling, but a lot of it has to do with health.
All right, Jeff, and let's roll through these a little more quickly so we can.
I'm not going to say too much. I think Jerrell hit it on the head. I don't have anything additional to add. I think he hit all the key points there.
Ajay on
And
OG?
I agree with Jerrell in saying that OG Anunoby is going to be OG Anunoby, but we kind of already see flashes of what he's going to do different this year. Every now and then he's going to be a little more aggressive on offense, right? We saw it to end last season when he was called upon to be the main guy on offense. He delivered, and you see a couple of games here in the preseason where he's like very aggressive, attacking, trying to score the basket. I really expect him to add that dimension to his game, at least, especially when the team needs it. If everybody's scoring, he needs to fall back and focus on defense. He's going to do just that. But if he needs to step up and score, or if he's wide open, he's going to go for it. So I expect him to be a little more aggressive on offense.
Yeah. I'm seeing some things in OG Anunoby that I really wasn't expecting. I'm with you, Jerrell. My expectation for him coming into the season, stay healthy, do what you do. I don't care how much money you pay. We're not looking for you to score 20 points a game. We're looking for you to be that glue guy, come through offensively if we need you. But if you don't score that much, I'm totally fine with it. I've seen some things in this preseason. I've seen more from him than I've seen from Mikal Bridges on the offensive end. Now, again, I agree with you. I'm not saying he's a better offensive player than Mikal Bridges, but at least in that third game, I think it was the Minnesota game. He showed, he showed some things that made me, start thinking like, listen, I'm thinking he gonna come in and be this defensive glue guy. He may have other thoughts, So if healthy, between the two of them, I agree with you. I do think Mikal is ahead of OG Anunoby, but defensively, I think OG is ahead of Mikal, defensively. Just not just their on-ball defense, but just his ability, OG's ability to guard guys he's not even on.
Yeah.
He's playing 1.5 guys
all the time.
Yeah, like he's amazing. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I just want him to get that handle up, man. That handle still look a little shaky to me, but if he had a handle, like with the game that he already has, if he had a handle, I think OG could be special. But he had, like I said before, it's something you have to work on. So
yeah, like Deuce handle is tighter. You notice that, right?
Yep. We're gonna get to Deuce. I'm gonna definitely talk about Deuce. Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the expectations for Karl-Anthony Towns' first season with the Knicks. I'm gonna start. I'm expecting an all NBA season from Karl-Anthony Towns.
We didn't do Cat yet. We didn't do Cat yet.
No, we didn't do Cat.
I thought we did. Okay, my bad.
I'm expecting him to get better on the offensive end in terms of his decision making. When to take that three on these switches, when to take your guy down in the post and punish them there. Of course, on a switch, you can shoot over the top. You take them into the post, now you can get to the free throw line. Now you can draw a double team and you can open up a shot for somebody else. So I'm looking for Cat to start playing chess this season in terms of his thought process on the offensive end. And if he becomes, a better defensive player, he's going to be an all NBA player. If he becomes a two-way center, like you think about Anthony Davis, a two-way center in terms of he already has the rebounds. But blocking, coming over from the the weak side, things like that. or just being where you're supposed to be and not getting in, getting in foul trouble, he has the potential still to be a two-way player at the center position. He has that potential. I've seen Robinson get better. I've said this before. I've seen Hartenstein get better. I think Tibbs is going to hold him accountable. Um, I I expect him to get better on the defensive end. I really think Cat is going to have one of his best seasons this year coming up. So I'm really high on him. A different player, right? He's a finesse player, but being a finesse player doesn't mean you're a soft player, right? To me, it's whether you're what dictates to me whether you're soft or not is it's time to make a shot and it's rolling out of bounds. You know what I mean? It's time for you to make a play out of the double team and you throwing it. You create internal. Like I'm like that to me is soft. Like you can't handle the pressure without melting. You know, not necessarily your style of play. He just has a different style of play. As a center doesn't necessarily mean he's soft, but I'm looking for that mental part to be a little sharper. So yeah, that's my take on Cat. Um, Jeff, then Ajay and Jerrell.
I love Cat. I think this is a great situation for him. I really want to see the rebound numbers up. I'd like to see him get a dozen rebounds a game. I think that would be really good. I just think all around he's going to be good. I like that he's played for Thibodeau before, so the defensive concepts and schemes aren't going to be foreign to him. I mean, yeah, he hasn't played with these specific players, and that's going to take an adjustment. It always seems like Thibodeau's teams take about 20 games till they get lathered up on defense, and they're kind of on a string or however you want to describe it. So I think that is the expectation. But I think he's going to be fine on defense, and I think he's going to be the best thing we've had since Patrick Ewing on offense at the middle, without doubt. And he's not Patrick. Don't Patrick in a class by himself, but he does a lot of elite things on the offensive end that we haven't seen at the 5 spot in a very long time.
Yeah, and just to piggyback when you said that he's played for Thibodeau before, so defense is not going to be new to him. We also have to keep in mind he's coming from a team that was the #1 defensive team in the entire league last season. So that's another reason why defense and defensive schemes is not going to be foreign to him. Now, if it's a lie, his coach told it that they were a #1 defensive team, not despite Cat, but that he was a part of it. I heard the interview on NBA radio Sirius XM that Cat was a part, that he shored up his defense to kind of help them become #1. He was top 10 in defensive rating last season. Take it for what it's worth in individual defensive ratings. And he's also coming from a team that went to the Western Conference Finals. So he understands, he's not coming from a team that never went to the playoffs or never went past the first round. He understands what it takes to advance deep into the playoffs, the focus that you need, how you need to show up. And he had success against one of the best players, if not the best player in the league, in the Joker. Now, he fell off in that next series, but it gives you hope that this is somebody who can lock in defensively on his assignment. So yeah, I'm really excited about watching him game in and game out this season. Ajay, your expectations of Karl-Anthony Towns, do you think he's going to be our second leading scorer? It's that not really much of an issue for you? Just your thoughts on him.
He's going to be our second leading scorer, and actually on some nights he might be our leading scorer. They brought him in here to take some of the load off of Brunson. So maybe on some nights you have him and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby killing it. Brunson doesn't have to score 30 points. He could just distribute the ball. So yes, I expect him to have a monster season, and I expect him to have a better defensive season than he's had in the past. So yeah, he's going to be, yes, definitely going to be at least our second leading scorer. And defense and rebounds.
He's gonna lead the team in rebounding.
Yeah, he's actually a better rebounder than I kind of looked back at it, did some went back, look at some videos. He's a better rebounder than I thought he was. So
yeah. I mean, against Gobert, he had 16 rebounds.
Yep.
In 20, I believe it was 27. But yeah, I'm not concerned about the rebound. I'm concerned about the fouls, the decision making, shot selection, like those sorts of things. Jerrell?
I think just like anybody else on a new team, I think it might be, maybe a tad rocky, maybe first 10, 20 games. But at the end of the day, I think Cat is going to be one of the best players in the league, just like he has been. Like Karl-Anthony Towns is an all-star. He's made the all-NBA team. He has almost every accolade besides like MVP, and he obviously hasn't won a championship. But Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the best players in this league. He's a top 5 big in this league, if you're just going to talk about centers.
Mm-hmm.
And, the holy grail for shooting is 50, 40, 90, and he was 3 percentage points away from that, being a 7-foot center. So if you're shooting 50, 40, 87 from the line, with the defense that we already have, I think he's going to have a monster season. I'm going to keep it short because I know we got to keep going. But, yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, if you actually watch him in Minnesota, he's a very good player. He had a 60-point game last season. Like, he can score from anywhere on the court. The only thing that you might say that you have a problem with maybe is defense, but like we've already talked about his defense, that he's coming from one of the best defensive teams in the league. Like, Cat can play defense, but he's here because of offense mainly. Like, I don't think there's not that many centers that can keep up with him when it comes to that. So he's going to be, I believe he's going to be an all-NBA player again.
Let's talk about Josh Hart. Forgot about him. I was about to move on to the bench. Let's talk about Josh Hart. Just briefly, your expectations for him. He started in this league. He has started in this league before, so this is not new for him. He started in Portland before being traded to the Knicks. Came off the bench last season. Obviously, started every game in the playoffs due to injuries. He's starting this season. Just your expectations of him this season, Ajay, Jerrell, Geoff.
You already know I don't like Josh Hart at the 3. He's not the regular, usual aggressive Josh Hart. I don't know if it's the position or if it's the starting. I don't think it's the starting because, Queen, like you said, not only he started in this league before, but he started for us last season. Right. Plenty of games, and he was very comfortable in there. So I'm just guessing it again. It's just chemistry. The chemistry is not there. It hasn't been established. They haven't developed it yet. But I just don't like him there.
What about at the 4? Like, I don't really. I think with OG and Josh Hart, I just think it's interchangeable depending on the matchups. Who's going to be guarding the 3? Who's going to be guarding the 4 on defense? On offense, he might be in the 4 spot. And
last season when he was he played the 4 for us, he did play. I mean, he played, well for a little guy, right? I don't know, but like I said, I hope. He's a good player. He's a good player, good rebounder. He could sometimes he gets his shot up. He could drive to the basket. He could do a lot of things. He's just not comfortable with what he has right now. So far in the preseason, I'm not liking what I'm seeing with him at that position. But In terms of, for the season, I do expect him to have at least as good a season as he had last season. You know, so, and I know he was working on his shot over the summer. Hopefully that they're you know you see some fruits of that labor of him training over the summer. He's working with a couple of shooting coaches. Hopefully he could improve in that area. And if he does, that's going to be tremendous for us. Because last season he was one of the guys that they were leaving open to double team a lot of our guys. Sometimes he did make him pay, and sometimes he didn't. So hopefully this season, it's better. But he did have a good season last year, and I expect him to have at least as good a season this time around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Jerrell?
Yeah, real quick, I think you should just throw all the stats out for Josh Hart, Swiss Army knife. Like, I'm not worried about his stats at all. I think he's going to do a little bit of everything, or he's going to do whatever needs to be done on any particular night. I think that's just his game. I think he flourishes in that role. Like, I wouldn't want Josh Hart to be like one of my primary scorers. Like, I want him to be a Swiss Army knife that can do a little bit of everything, play defense, play hard, play almost every game. Last year, he was playing 48 minutes. Like that everybody can't do that. And he played it like at a high level. So, and he did it in the playoffs. So, I'm not worried about Josh Hart, but I don't think he's going to be like somebody that you should worry about how many points he's scoring or how many rebounds he gets or how many assists he have. That is going to change from night to night.
Yeah, for sure. Geoff?
Yeah, I think he's just going to be the oil to the machine. Whatever we need on a given day, he's going to try and provide that. I mean, he's a guy who can provide you with a triple-double, providing he can get to the 10 points. He just does so many things well. I think he facilitates very well. I think he's a good passer. I think having Bridges in the starting lineup with him is going to help. Having those three Villanova guys, I think, is going to be exciting. And even if he wasn't a starter, he was going to close for this team anyway. So, I mean, those of you who want someone else to start, that's fine. But when it comes down to crunch time, Thibodeau's going to be trusting Josh Hart, in my opinion, because he did it for him all last year and in the playoffs. So, whether he's in the starting lineup or not, I think you're going to find him in the closing lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. You guys hit it on the head. I don't really have much to offer. He's going to be that utility guy, that all-around player. And when you look at the box score, he might have 6 points, but 8 rebounds. 2 steals, a block, 4 or 5 assists. He brings the ball up for us. He goes coast to coast with when he rebounds. He's really good at passing the ball to whoever is up ahead for layups. He's going to be that connector for us, and whatever we get for him offensively is gravy. And he is somebody that could put it on the floor now and drive to the basket, and also hit, cut to the basket, finish if he's hit, but also, find other players, as well. But I do agree with Ajay. He looks a little out of sort, but honestly, he's not the only one. I don't think we've seen the best of Bridges. Bridges looks a little out of sort for me. OG, the first 2 games, I think he had 9 points combined until, we played Minnesota. I think the Cat Brunson 2-man game, I've seen times when it was great. I've seen other times where I just felt like we didn't go to it enough. So I just think it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. All right. For the sake of time, we're just going to go to bench players, and you can definitely piggyback off of, what somebody else has said, as opposed to one player and everybody going around. Let's talk about the bench.
Queen, you want to hit the chat a little bit real quick?
Okay, hit the chat a little bit.
It's not, I'll run through it real quick. Parrish Duggar, OG needs backup, keep TJ Warren, and sign Mook Morris.
We can only sign one. We can only sign
between
one.
those two.
Yeah, we can only sign one player to a minimum contract, and then the other player, from what I understand, is going to have to be somebody on a two-way that we
But
sign to the roster.
What if we lose Shamit though?
Shamit was that one player.
He was that one player.
No, if we lose him, I'm saying, with the injury, we can't. I don't know.
We one player
Mhm.
can replace him.
Yeah,
If
he's
we
that
lose
one
him.
player.
Jamet was going to be taking that roster spot that you're wanting to give the TJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because so TJ Warren was he's on exhibit 10, whatever. All right, so
No, real quick though, does it matter that Mook Morris declined to come back though when they wanted him to? Like, you think he'd come back? Because I would actually like him to come back.
Maybe he felt like he wasn't going to make the team, and this was just going to be like a training camp run. Maybe now though that there's a legit chance, maybe he will.
Because if that's the case, then I would rather have Mook Morris than TJ Warren. To be honest, I like Mook. Be good for the bench.
I don't disagree. I like Mook too. Sherwing says OG's defensive player of the year potential, quite possible. No, wait, hold on. The Knicks 100 at GM thinks OG Anunoby is 10 over with 4 or 5 dribbles, and somebody to snatch the ball away from him. Walter White, shout out to Walter White. Cat will average more assists than Randall did.
Randall was what, 5 last season?
5, yeah, between 4 and 5.
Wow,
I can see Cat getting that.
he's had seasons of 4.8, 4.9 early in his.
But does he?
career.
I feel like he doesn't get double teamed as much as Randall did. Maybe, I guess, I don't know if I'm right. We watch the Knicks a lot. We don't watch the other team, so I don't know a lot. We might kind of have a wrong idea.
His assists may come maybe from hitting cutters because there'll be so much space in
Right.
in the middle. We'll see. That's a good point. I'm interested in that as well. How is he going to generate shots for others? Randall did it off the double team.
Well, that Cat used to get double teamed, but they kind of drafted Anthony Edwards, so
Right.
can't really do that anymore.
That's another thing. I mean, Randall was double teamed, but he may not have gotten double teamed on this team because how? You're going to double team him and leave OG. You're going to double team him and leave Bridges.
Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart. Yeah.
Walter White, Tibbs will have Cat prepared. Just watch. Shout out to Eddie F. Said Cat will improve due to Brunson's leadership and skill. I don't disagree. Coach says Brunson and Cat will be the highest scoring duo in the NBA. I would love for you to be right, and I really hope that happens. Eddie F.
But I
again.
hope that's not because Brunson is scoring 30 and Cat is scoring 19.
Yeah, there's some good duos out there. I had to think about that, but I would, I hope it happens.
That would be welcome if that really happened. Eddie F says, honestly, not worried about Cat, worried about health and death. Yeah, in case we forgot about health, not just with Cat, but with OG Anunoby. Queen just reminded us OG Anunoby situation.
That's the dumbest thing ever, man.
That is so funny.
But that's for Cat too.
That's for Cat. That's for Cat.
We got a few.
We got a few on this team.
Yep.
This one, Hart is our fifth is our fifth scorer. If that and Walter White came back even crazy.
Nice.
These guys are vicious tonight, so I had to highlight.
Hey, man.
And the next three, I don't know if they make sense, but I like the way they sound, so I'm gonna share them anyway.
That's a real ambulance in my background. I know y'all can't hear.
Yeah. I don't know if this. I don't know what this is. I like how that sounds, so I'm gonna put it. The next couple, Tibbs need to start Precious
Well, I was actually going to I was going to mention that when we got to talking about Precious. We haven't talked about him yet, but that is a possibility.
instead of Josh Hart. Right,
Mhm.
starting Precious make the bench better. Again, sounds very good to me.
Putting with Josh Hart on the bench.
Mhm.
Yeah, y'all put some flowers on Precious because the Knicks fan base they underrate him for no reason. All right. So, yeah, sleeping on my guy Precious.
Paris
Precious
Duggar
will
had
make
another
the
super
save.
chat too, Jay.
Don't see it. Oh, yeah, I see it. Shout out to Paris Jogger.
Dang.
Paris
saw that.
Duggar. I Heart broke his. No, really?
Yep.
Left hand. Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
Oh,
He'll
well.
be reevaluated in 5 weeks, I think they said. But yeah,
All right. I mean, it doesn't impact us, but you just, hate this, see that for anybody who's getting
Right.
an opportunity, another opportunity.
Yep. Honestly, I don't think it really affect them that much either. They just need him for the playoffs, really.
Yeah.
They'll be fine without him. They have a talented team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck though.
Yeah, it does.
All right, man. Hit the like button, man. We have. How do we have watching here? 110 logged in. Only 58 likes.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right. Let's get to the bench. Who's most likely to lead the bench? And lead the bench could be scoring. Lead the bench could be the glue guy. Lead the bench could mean whatever you want it to mean. Who's most likely to lead the bench, and and why? We're gonna start with you, Jerrell, Geoff, Ajay.
I was hoping you did not start with me
Oh,
because
you
no.
can-
I'll start it. The only reason because I didn't want to shock nobody because my answer was probably going to be Josh Hart because I think ultimately Precious is going to start.
Okay.
So I think Josh Hart will be the leader of the second unit. I think that doesn't really mean anything in terms of minutes because he's going to play all over the place.
Mhm.
He's going to finish it. Like it doesn't really mean anything that he's, that Precious is starting other than Josh Hart will come in and lead the bench because if not, then it'll be Deuce. I'm not saying that Deuce couldn't do it, but I'm not sure if Tom Thibodeau think Deuce can do it yet or trust him to do it yet. Like we'll see in the beginning of the season, obviously, but to me, I see Tibbs starting Precious and putting Josh back on the bench, but we'll see.
I think that's his preference. I think Josh is starting out of necessity right now, but I agree. I think in a perfect world, Tibbs would want Josh to come off the bench. Now, when you talk about leading the bench, you're not talking about leading the bench in scoring.
Oh no, Josh ain't leading nobody nothing in scoring. No, he's going to lead them with leadership. They're going to go to him, and even when he does that, I think Bridges is always either Bridges or Brunson. I think will always be on the floor. So it's not like he needs to be a leader, but for the guys that's coming off the bench, though, they are going to look for him to, for leadership and experience and stuff like that. But Bridges and Brunson will always be on the floor anyway. So I think we're good either way.
Okay. All right. Geoff, who do you think leads the bench? Whatever your definition of lead is.
I think it's going to be Precious because I think we're going to need that big presence in the front court, whether it be at the 4 or the 5 spot. Towns is going to, need some rest, and I think he's going to play a lot of those minutes. I think he's done a good job when he's gotten 20 plus minutes, and I think that the way the bench is constructed right now, he's got that swath of minutes kind of carved out for him, especially with Mitchell Robinson out at least until next year. So I think it's going to be Precious, and the other answer would be Deuce because I think McBride is set to have a really nice season off the bench. I think coach trusts him more, and I think playing alongside someone like Mikal and maybe alongside Mikal and Josh or alongside Mikal and Cam, I think that any one of those trios is really good off the bench.
Yeah, I agree with that. Precious is definitely improved from last season. Hit a few threes. I don't know if it was just a hot night, but hit a few threes. Rebounded well, scored well. Maybe he's one of those guys that needs to start to see what he can do. The day before that, I thought he was in the roller skating rink, falling, just falling all over the place, possession after possession. I was texting AJ. I'm like, yo, what's up with this guy?
Jerrell, she actually texted me, man. Yo, what's up with your guy Precious, man?
What's up with your man? Thinking he a roll bounce. Why is he rolling all over the place?
In extended minutes, he looked good. And when he started those 18 games the season before, he looked good. So he could be one of those guys that needs extended minutes because, it's not easy, and shout out to Deuce and Josh Hart. It's not easy being a bench guy to come in your limited minutes and just like that, make an impact on offense, on defense, on scoring. Everybody can't do that. And I don't know if Precious is one of those guys, but we shall see. But he looked good against Charlotte, and that was their starters.
Honestly, I think Charlotte just trash, man. Like I was watching them, I was like, I'm not taking anything from this game at all. Like they're just bad. Not saying that our guys didn't play good, but we're not. Our bench is not supposed to be beating them like that.
Right?
No way.
So you're saying it says more about them than it does about us?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. They going straight to the lottery if you getting beaten by any bench in the NBA.
Yep.
Yeah. Geoff, Geoff said, Ajay, do you want to piggyback off anything anybody else said? Who do you think is going to lead the bench? Just your thoughts on the bench?
It's a hard pick, and like everybody's right on that one because it could be Deuce, it could be Precious, but don't sleep on Campaign, man. Do not sleep on Campaign.
Good
Nobody's mentioning him, but he's he can get hot in frequently. Like it's not like he'll be hot one day and then cold the next day, the next 5 games. Like he could go on streaks, that guy. So I wouldn't sleep on him. So on any given night, like any one of those guys could pick up the slack, and lead the bench in scoring. So
Campaign was playing like he was in the playoffs. Yeah. Like he was diving on the floor and stuff. Like he was balling. Like he has the type of, I don't know, just the type of mentality that perfect for Tibbs.
Yeah.
Like I could see him getting a lot of minutes.
Yeah. I mean, there was an article where he said he plays like that because he doesn't want to go back overseas.
Right.
He doesn't want to go back overseas. He was a first round draft pick. He was a lottery pick. I want to say ninth or 10th or something like that. Things just didn't work out for him. He had to battle and get himself back into the NBA, and he stays hungry. He stays hungry. And I like what he brings in terms of being able to set the team up, the floater, the 3-point shot. Looks very awkward, but he's very quick in terms of getting down court, getting us into our sets. I've been really impressed with Campaign, and it does allow Deuce McBride to play off the ball and do what he does best. The shot is looking good. The handle is tighter, able to get into the lane, for the pull up. And that's all he has to worry about and play good defense. You don't have to worry about setting up the team. You don't have to worry about anything but scoring the basketball and playing, good defense. So, yeah, Yeah, I like Precious, Precious as well. I like Deuce. That bench is actually was coming along. I mean, Shamit wasn't shooting great. I think he shot really well that first game. I think the other games he didn't shoot that well, but he has more on the offensive end than I thought. I've seen him drive to the cup. I've seen him pull up for, basically he can score on all three, on all three levels. Now, not a dynamic scorer, don't get me wrong, but can put the ball, on the floor and pull up. He was a point guard in college,
Mhm.
so he has a nice vision. He has nice vision as well. So let's just see, hopefully, it's just a few weeks, and it's not a season-ending injury. Let me ask you this: have you seen enough for him? Let's say he's out 8 weeks. Is he worth waiting for, or do you think that bench really needs something? We probably should go out and get somebody, and you know, he just bad luck, but he won't be on the team this year.
Who you talking about, Shamit?
Damn it.
Oh yeah, I think I'm getting somebody else
They're not
because
going-
because it was his shooting shoulder too, right? When is his right shoulder?
Mm,
I don't
Because
know.
I don't know if I'm waiting for Shamit on a dislocated shooting shoulder. Like I don't. Like seem like I'd rather have either TJ Warren or Mook or maybe somebody else, depending on somebody might shake loose in the beginning of the season. So I don't know if I'm gonna wait for that because you don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't know if he needed surgery. Like I don't
no, no,
have
no.
any
I'm
detail.
saying if it comes out that it's an 8-week injury,
If okay,
if are you waiting for 8 weeks, or you're getting somebody else?
that's a hard question because I like Shamit. That's hard, man. And plus, him and Campaign played together. I think all them two and Bridges was on that finals team with the Suns, right?
I believe so.
So yeah, they all have playoff experience. They all went to the finals. I really like Sham, so that's tough, Steph. But I probably still won't wait.
Okay.
That's tough. But I really would want him on the team. But yeah, that's tough.
Okay. All right. Jeff?
That ain't tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can wait on him, but I kind of agree with that's a shame. I was actually I wanted Shamit to get that roster spot. I thought he looked good, even without shooting the ball well. I liked what he brought to the team. I don't know. Maybe you do him a solid and say, hey, if you come back healthy, you can, maybe we can swing something later on. I don't know, but I would probably keep T.J. Warren if we're being honest. I think we need to do something with that roster spot to fill a need. You can't just have an empty suit on the bench for 8 weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, he would still be on the team. He just wouldn't be playing. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
Same difference.
yeah.
Ajay?
Yeah, I'm not waiting for Shamit.
That's all I need. I'm not waiting.
Not
Yeah.
waiting for Shamit. Listen, I like them. He could be a good player off the bench, but I'm not waiting 8 weeks. On a dislocated shoulder. Then he come. Nah,
We're not saying it's
Yeah, we
so
don't
I'm not
know.
saying it's dislocated shoulder, like whatever it is.
if it's bruised, if it's just bruised, I'm not waiting for him.
Man, that chicken wing was sticking out like that. There ain't no bruise. That thing was going another
Yeah,
direction.
I do think it was a serious injury. However, I would disagree. If it came out that it was just an 8-week injury, I would wait, because chip talk, we talking about winning the championship. Having him, for the playoffs, would be great. I'm not sure how much TJ Warren is going to get, how much playing time a TJ Morris or TJ Morris, a TJ Warren or Mook Morris
It's a combo.
is going to get. I think Tibbs would play guys more minutes. I think,
Right.
I think that would be the case. I think he would run Bridges with that second unit at the 3 instead of the 4. I just think he would use somebody else. until he was healthy. Now, if it's season ending, obviously,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I
Yeah,
think the only hard thing for me is because I really, really like TJ Warren. Like he's like if he was always well, I wouldn't say if he was always healthy, because if he was always healthy, he wouldn't be with us in the first place. He would already be on a roster. So yeah, like if TJ Warren was regular TJ Warren, I think this is a no-brainer. Like
yeah,
regardless if Shamit was healthy or not, like I would rather have him. But
yeah. But this is my thing, though. I don't think Tibbs is into TJ Warren because he just sat the bench. Like there was ample opportunity to play him. He sat the bench until I think he played garbage minutes in one of the preseason games, and he was in the rotation when there was none of the starters. I was expecting him to be in the rotation, period.
but you don't think it's because like he's such a vet, and like what he can do? He's
No.
just been hurt, or
Shamit is a vet too.
that's true.
I was very surprised that he wasn't getting any light in the preseason. I was like, oh, he's just a practice player.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
Never know how Tibbs is thinking when it comes to stuff like that. We'll find out quick though.
yeah, we'll
That's
find out
one thing.
tomorrow.
That's one thing Tibbs will do. He will let you know very, very fast who stands with him, whether they playing or not.
Yeah, we'll know we'll know tomorrow. But I'm fine with TJ Warren. I would take TJ Warren over Mook Morris only because I'm not sure if Mook
Man.
Morris would play.
Mook's the man. I take one.
I'm not sure Mook Morris would play. You got Precious, you got
He'd be the backup center.
You need bigs.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough too, stuff to be honest. If I had to choose between if both of them, TJ Warren, Shamit, and Mook Morris is all healthy, they're all playing like themselves. I think that's a hard decision. I think it just depends on it's all Tibbs. It's all depending on how Tibbs want to construct everything, because that's just one spot. Whoever that spot is, it's not like they're going to be playing major minutes anyway. Like they can't.
yeah. I would take the shooting. I would take the shooting with Shamit first, then I would take the scoring with TJ Warren second.
Warren.
Mook Morris, I just don't. I see Tibbs going with Sims before he went with Mook Morris.
Really?
I'm not saying I would.
Don't get Jerrell.
I'm not
Don't
saying
get
I
Jerrell
would
excited
do it.
talking about Jericho.
I said I see Tibbs doing that. I'm not saying that I would do it.
Ajay, I'm not saying anything bad about Sims tonight.
He didn't say anything bad. You just don't think he belong in the league.
Yeah, but you saying that. I'm not saying anything bad about Sims tonight. You said I said that a while ago. I'm not saying anything bad about Sims. Sims is cool. The last game he played showed effort and stuff. Is just, whatever. He's going to be on the team.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the team.
Yeah. I mean, he rebounded and put the ball on the floor a few times, and
he got on the perimeter, went for the pump fake a few times.
Yeah. Well, talking about Sims, did we talk about? Let's get to the situational players, the guys that we don't think will be in the rotation, so we can talk about Kolick and Hakporty, Daddy A, Sims, who I don't think will be in the rotation. But stranger things have happened. Thoughts on the situational players, like how comfortable are you with them if they have to step in and give us a few minutes if someone is is injured? Tibbs has said, and I agree, that over the course of a season, you will see multiple guys having to make contributions, right? So over the course of a season, I could see Kolick making a contribution. Over the course of the season, I could see Hakporty making a contribution, Daddy A making a contribution. But what I will say, and this is chip talk right here, championship talk. Kolek is good. Hakporti, it has looked active. You
Mhm.
know, he's not really a skill. Like he's a rim runner. You know,
Mhm.
similar to Mitchell Robinson. You know, he sets good screens. You know, if you give him the pass near the basket, he'll dunk it. You know, he plays with a lot of activity on on the defensive end, and that's good for him. You know, good for him. Um, but I will say this: if Hakporti is the backup center, we in trouble.
I knew you was gonna say that.
You know,
I knew you was
listen,
gonna say that.
listen. If you're a team with championship aspirations, your backup center can't be Hakporti, and your backup point guard can't be Kolek. And I'm not talking about their skill set again over the course of the season. Hakporti is going to make a contribution. Over the course of a season, Kolek is going to make a contribution. You just have to use everybody. It's an 82 game season. But if you're constructing a roster to win a championship and you're a front office, and before the season start, you're penciling in Hakporti as your backup center, and you're penciling in Kolek as your backup point guard, your chances of winning a championship has diminished compared to if you have a NBA veteran in those spots. And listen, don't get me wrong, an NBA veteran can have a bad postseason as well. But you got to play the percentages, right? You got to play the percentages. You have to fill those spots with NBA experience if you're trying to win a champion, if you're trying to win a championship. So, shout out to Huck Porty for what he's doing. Shout out to Kolek for what they're doing. But if you're trying to win a chip, you got to have campaign in that spot and you got to get a backup. Well, for now for now it's Precious, but it's good to see down the line what the Knicks are doing, including Daddy A in there. That the back end of that roster is being filled, and in a few years, look at Brown from Denver. He made a contribution in the finals. They weren't counting on him, but he made a contribution in the finals when they won that championship, and now I believe he's going to start this season. Right? Good for him. So I do see these guys on our team being in the rotation down the line, but I would not feel comfortable if they were in the rotation and we're trying, because it's just the nature of young guys to be up and down. It's the nature of young guys to have a great game, one game and disappear, have a great series and disappear. That's just part of their growth. And if you're trying to win a championship, you can't ride that roller coaster. You just can't. But you guys' thoughts on Hakporti, Kolek, Daddy A? We talked a little bit about Sims. I think he's going to be situational. You can throw him in here, if you want. Just your thoughts on them.
I think you're right. If we're talking about winning a chip, none of these dudes that we're talking about should play. Because if they do log any type of major minutes, then we pretty much in trouble. Somebody's hurt, or I don't know. The only time they would get any minutes if we're blowing somebody up. So the way that we play, we don't really blow teams out like that. We always the cardiac Knicks, no matter how good the team is. So I don't expect to see them, even though I think Kolek and Hakporti, I think they're really talented. I like Dottie A too. He showed me something last game. They obviously can play, but yeah, the daycare is over. There's no more the kids and stuff like that. Like we're trying to win a championship. So I don't see Tibbs, and I think Tibbs know that. And they got rid of all the young guys for this moment. They're not going to keep playing young guys. Like they're just hustling backwards, it seems like. So I don't expect them any of them to log, any type of real minutes this season.
But it's possible if, like you said, if somebody gets injured,
Right.
Kolek may have to come in and back up Brunson. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hakporti, if Precious get injured and if he's the next guy up, he has to come in and back up, that's fine. But I'm talking about counting on them game in and game out. And you're like, no way, no way. Geoff or Ajay, either one, it doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Ajay.
Listen, a lot of those guys, I don't fully agree that they can't get playing time. It depends on the situation, depending on what we got with the injuries. Last season, Dallas had that kid, Lively.
Mhm.
So you have situations where you get a rookie come in and make a difference. Whether you want to admit it or not, Lively made a difference. Yeah, I understand he was playing with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and those guys. But we have a couple of all-stars on our team. You may be able to bring a rookie that actually helps. Dallas was only a couple of games from winning a championship.
I'm not saying they can't help, but I bet you if they had a choice, they would have had, if they could have found it, they would have preferred to have a veteran at the center spot and Lively
Yeah.
coming off the bench.
And plus, Lively was a lottery pick. Like, we're talking about, second round picks that we picked up this season.
Listen, watching the preseason, obviously Kolick, that kid is good. Another couple of seasons, he's gonna be like excellent.
No doubt about it.
And Hawk Porty, he's better than I thought. Actually, I saw a couple of games where he's got some minutes. He shows a lot of activities. I wouldn't be surprised. I know the Tibbs won't do that. Won't play him more minutes than Jericho, but I think he's not. I mean, Jericho's not that much better than him. He has certain things he could do probably better than Jericho. He's a little more active on offense and try to score the ball and try to rebound, put back, and that kind of stuff that Jericho doesn't really do. So I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere mid-season he's seen a lot of minutes, especially if we have if we're limited with the bigs. I don't know what we're gonna do with the big situation, with the front court situation. But and then you have the other guys that are never gonna see any sort of minutes. Even you got Jacob Toppin, McCullough, those guys. Is Okeke still on the team?
About McCullough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, McCullough is there. Okeke still there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not making the roster.
Yeah, no. He's not. He's not coming back. So, I mean, those guys. I don't. Those guys won't see any minute. I don't think. Even in a blowout situation.
I mean, to me personally, before Geoff go, I don't want me to cut you off. If any of them will see any type of minutes, I think it'll be Hawk Porty, because at least he's played professional basketball before. Like, I think he has way more experience, and I think he's older than all of them. I think he's, 22, 23 years old?
Yeah. And Jerrell, we're short on bigs, too.
We're short on bigs. Yeah. So I like Hot Porter. He do more than just dunk, too. Yeah. Like, he has a little post game. I see him do a little hook. So he can, nothing to write home about, but I think he can log minutes if need be.
And too bad on the night that we're talking about Hawk Porty, Nick Yak is not here to be, to chill.
Yeah. Because that is his man. You're right.
We're talking about Hawk Porty. Listen, I'm not saying none of these guys can log minutes. That's not my point anyway. Any of these guys can log minutes. I'm saying these are not guys you penciling in a backup spot to get consistent minutes for a championship contending team. That's my point. But in terms of coming in situationally and contribute, absolutely. Porty, Kolick, Daddy, any of those guys can be the next man up and come in and contribute to the team. No doubt about it. Geoff?
Yeah, I really like Tyler Kolick. I think that he's just, I don't know, he just seems like one of those players who just understands the game. Like he just is game ready which is important when you're talking about a guy who plays the guard position. You know, he just sees the floor in the proper manner. He leads the passes properly so that the guys have it in their shooting pocket. So I agree with you. Like, if you're outside the top 9, you know you're not gonna we're not playing more than 9 guys. But if we had to in a pinch, I think Kolek could come in and rise to that occasion. But to me, I would much rather see him kind of get the Deuce McBride treatment, where he gets to season and simmer season or 2, and then he really pops in year 3 or so. If we have that luxury, and we should, it's good to have those young players to not have to rely on them, but to still be able to develop them, because you don't have to be seeing the court to be developing. And if you're getting to play behind guys like Campaign and Jalen Brunson, you can really learn how to play the point guard position. And so I think that'll be a real opportunity for him. But again, we're a little bit light in the front court. So, somebody might sneak in and surprise that we don't expect. And maybe someone who's not even on the roster right now.
That's a great point. Great point. All right, let's move on. Who's most likely to make a leap this season? Let's do some quick hitters.
For me, real quick, Deuce.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll be Deuce McBride. I think he's might even play more minutes than he did last year, and he played a lot of minutes last year, considering the type of player that he was coming into the league. And we saw him come in, how Tibbs trusted him and stuff like that. I think it's going to be Deuce McBride. It's either going to be him or I don't know. I'll just leave it at him for now, but it'll be him or Precious for me.
Okay. All right. Ajay, who do you think is going to take a leap this season?
I agree with Jerrell. Deuce and / all Precious. And you could already see with both of them. You saw it last season. You saw those guys when they got the minutes, they produced, and you seeing it here in the preseason also. So the only thing, it depends, because the situation at guard is a little sticky. So that's the only issue with Deuce. Like, he's really gonna have to fight for minutes, because Tibbs, he gets in that mode. He's gonna want to play the vet. Like, he's gonna want to put Campaign instead of Deuce. That sort of.
I think they're gonna play together though. I don't think Bridges. I don't think McBride is gonna play the point guard. I think he's.
Well,
better
you know what? You're right.
guard.
You're right. Especially with Campaign out there. So Campaign could play the point guard and have Deuce as a small shooting guard. So yeah, those two guys to me will make a leap. Precious, if Precious starts, like y'all saying, that's a possibility. If he starts at the, if he's in starting lineup, it's gonna be a huge difference, because you see when he gets minutes, he produces. He did it last season, in the preseason. Last season, when he was out there, he was performing. So, I expect those two guys to take a leap.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah, you choppy.
or are we just talking bench?
No.
Are we just talking bench?
No, leap.
Team.
The entire team.
I think Mikal Bridges. I think
choice.
Bridges is primed for a big season and to take a major leap. But don't sleep on OG Anunoby, because if he's the 4th option and they're having to stop him, and all those other 3 guys, being Bridges, Cat, and Brunson, are drawing all that attention, could open the door for OG to have a huge season too. And it may be that the attention that Bridges draws makes it that OG is able to be unlocked a little bit more.
Yeah. I was going to say Bridges too. You could say, well, he's a little further along than a Deuce McBride or a Precious Achiuwa, so how could he even take a leap? You know what I mean? But that's the guy. That's
Yep.
the guy that I think is going to be our secondary ball handler. That's the guy that I think is going to be creating shots for himself and others. That's the guy that's going to be running with that second team, really showing what he can do. And when he was with Brooklyn, he had some big shots from them for them down the stretch in games. Um, so he's the guy for me that I think is going to take you know, take a leap this season. Miles McBride and I just have this feeling about OG and Anunoby. Just seeing him over the preseason, I just have this feeling. I'm gonna still say Bridges, but OG might take a leap as well. Who's the X factor? Who's that guy that if they play well, significantly raises the ceiling of the Knicks?
I had
It could be the same player that
I
you
was about
said.
to say I had already answered that. I said it was Bridges,
Mhm.
but just to switch it up, I'll have to say OG Anunoby. The way that you said what an X factor is. Before I said Bridges was the X factor because I said that I think he's going to be an all-star. But
Mhm.
if OG Anunoby can even touch his ceiling a little bit and actually stay healthy, we can win a championship.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but also Cat. I mean, we brought him in. So if Cat could play well, could get in the floor of this offense, I mean, it's just gonna be, uh, you know, if Cat plays well enough to be like the leading scorer on this team, and you have
Mm.
Jalen Brunson taking a back seat, it's just gonna be insane.
I honestly think that's what's going to happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
To be
So
honest,
Cat is my answer too. I think Towns. Uh, if Towns is what I think he can be, I think he raises the ceiling for this team significantly, just based on we have the wing defense, wing stop, whatever you want to call them, and I think that's going to help Towns defensively. I think he brings another element to the team offensively that makes us very modern, very. I hate to say this, but I'm going to throw up a little bit when I think about it, but very Boston Celtic-ish. As far as what they were successful in being able to do, Cat is a better player than Kristaps, and Kristaps really is unlocked a lot of things for them, and I think Mikal Bridges has the potential to have a Derek White type of impact, or Drew Holiday, either one, because both of those guys were instrumental in what Boston did. But one of the things that was so good about that Celtics team is that everybody on that team could shoot the three, and you look at this Knicks roster, and almost everybody on the team can shoot the three, and that's a game changer. That's the modern NBA. I think that's one of the things that to be an elite offense. I think it's one of the things you need, and I think it's really one of the things that the Knicks front office has really been targeting, and I think it's one of the reasons why Julius is not here.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this is a tough one. I could see OG raising the ceiling of this team. OG is this guy that you can't even put into words the impact that he can have on a team if he's healthy. Like there's no stat for it. There's just no statistical category for it. But just listening to you guys, I'm gonna have to change it and go with Cat. Because if he plays at his ceiling, I think one of the reasons why people say that he's not better than Randall, because if you look at how both of them have actually played over the course of their season, you could say it's close. Obviously, Towns did it faster. It took Randall some years to come into his own. But the complaint against Cat is that he hasn't been playing at his ceiling, right? And so, You know, you could say, let's just say over the past 5 years, you could say it's a pick'em between Cat and Randall. But if Cat plays at his ceiling, he has a higher ceiling than Julius Randle. And if he plays at his ceiling, my goodness, the Knicks are gonna look all world. You know, so if he needs to shore up some things, and I'm confident he's going to do that on this team under Tom Thibodeau, and that definitely raises the ceiling of this team big time. Big time. Yeah. All right. Let's go to this is kind of the same, right? Is this kind of the same as an X factor? The dark horse would be the player nobody is really thinking about.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you said you already had asked who's making the biggest leap. That's pretty much the same thing too.
As the dark horse. Yeah.
Well, it can mean the same thing. It all depends on like your definition of dark horse.
Yeah. I would say somebody that you're not really expecting much from. And they make a big contribution than you expected.
I'll say Sims.
Wow. That's a black skillet, cast iron skillet.
I'm gonna say Sims.
That's coming from
because I don't expect anything from him. So if he gives us anything, like say, especially if somebody get hurt, you know, knock on wood, Sims is going to he's going to log minutes. Like Tibbs already proved that before. So, you know, and until we get Mitch or somebody that can replace Mitch as a backup center, it could be Sims.
My dark horse is Campaign.
Good choice.
That's my dark horse. You know, we know he's going to come in and, you know, lead the team and, you know, play to get us into our sets, I should say, and score a little here and what have you. But if he does more than that, that really helps that second unit. That basically transforms that second unit with him and Deuce in the backcourt if he's able to do that. So Campaign would be my dark horse. Anybody else, Ajay?
Precious.
I mean, you know he was going to pick Precious. Like Ajay didn't even have to go.
Precious.
I mean, he said it. He almost said Precious before everybody else started talking. He wanted to blurt it out, but he just let us live.
I had to hold back, Jerrell. I had to hold
He
back.
had to chill for a second.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to the chat, by the way. I'm not
it's moving so fast and we talking.
I'm not following the chat, but just a shout out to Knicks 100 a GM. Dacosaurus Rex, appreciate you. Trav B in the house, appreciate you. Nostalgic Nick Sharon was in the house. I'm not sure if he's still here. Keith Turner in the house. Kerry Cox, I appreciate all of you, very active in the chat. The coolest 718, I owe you an apology. Last show, I banned you, or it was a mistake.
Yeah.
I was going to hit somebody else, and it changed. The chat changed fast. So my apologies, the coolest 718. Glad you didn't take offense to it and you came back tonight to support the channel. I don't know if you left me a little nasty comment. But I appreciate you coming back. Old head, I appreciate you. Kevin Bergen. Oh man.
Yeah,
you guys.
Chat was on fire tonight.
This chat is on fire. Coach in the house. Coach is happy, man.
Yeah, you say Mega was definitely in the house earlier.
Oh, Mega. Yeah, definitely Mega in the house. I appreciate you. Yeah. Coach is happy. He been talking about Cat
for years.
Years. Yeah.
Like this
Dakula said he didn't even know I was leaving anyway. Can't put me out of
Yeah, I was
I
chilling.
leaving anyway.
Can't kick me out of no place. I'm leaving anyway.
Right. Yeah. And same thing with Kerry Cox, who was on the OG Anunoby train for like years.
Yep.
And was it 914 Finest or not 914 Finest? Who Finest is in his name as well. He used to come by the Giants.
Almighty Finesse?
Say that again?
Almighty Finesse?
Almighty
Almighty
Finesse.
Finesse.
He was on that OG train
for years. Yep.
for years.
Ever since this show started. This is like
yeah.
what, the third year of this show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Ever since,
2022, not almost.
yeah.
Almost. A shout out to True and Living. I appreciate you. You got Kenny Payne. He said, "Don't bring up Julius anymore. We got to move on."
Yeah.
What? Man,
I'm not gonna lie.
We still mention RJ every now and then, man. We talking about. We gonna be.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm on that train. Like if you don't play for the team, I don't care. It's like, don't get me wrong. I still care about their well-being and stuff like that. But they don't play for the Knicks anymore. Like I'm not looking, because I watch, regular basketball games anyway. So I'm definitely going to watch Minnesota this year regardless. But I'm not watching simply because of Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. No.
Right.
No way.
Jerrell, even when I say I'm gonna do it, because I thought I was gonna be watching the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I watched the first 2 games and then I didn't even know when it was playing after that.
Really? You gotta watch games, man. That's how you know how everybody else plays other than our team.
Yeah.
There's other players out there.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
When our team don't play, I watch, but when our team's playing, and sometimes other teams playing, I'm rewatching the Knicks game.
Like if you didn't ever watch Cat play, a lot of people think all he do is shoot threes.
Right.
Yeah. He obviously does more than that.
Yeah.
He only shot 5 threes a game last year.
Right. It seemed like though, and that's preseason, he seemed like he taking 10 a game. I haven't looked at the
he especially that first game. I was like, all right, Cat, it's kind of you can do it a little bit, you know what I mean? But I think you gotta think about it. This is his first time on the team, first time being at home in the Garden, or trying to get rhythm. I think in the preseason, that's when you are supposed to be taking those shots. You know what I'm saying? Just to get the rhythm. That's all. But yeah, when the season start though, after you miss like 3 in a row, you need to go reel it on in, big fella.
Okay. Anybody else for Dark Horse before we move on?
Yeah.
All right. Who makes the All-Star team? I guess should we say besides Jalen Brunson?
Right. Cat and Bridges for me. We're gonna have 3 All-Stars.
Cat and Bridges. I agree.
I will say Cat. I don't think Bridges is gonna make it.
I mean,
okay.
Maybe like we probably won't have 3 All-Stars, Jerrell, but
if we
definitely
got 3 All-Stars, then that means we're on track to win like 55 games, right? I mean, those teams that's in second place, second place, they do get 3 or more All-Stars. So that's basically saying the Knicks are going to be in first or second place heading into the break for that to happen.
Hopefully, that's the plan, Steph.
And if they are, I do think we get 3.
Yeah, especially coming out the gate and seeing what's happening to Philly. Like we only people we need to worry about early. And B said he not doing back-to-backs. Paul George, one of his knees already doing the electric boogaloo early. Like I'm not worried. Don't get me wrong, they're still going to be a good team, especially with Maxey and the other players that they have. Like they're going to be a good team, but like health-wise, at the start of the season, we should be better than the Sixers. We should have a better record than them, I believe. So I think, to be honest, we really need to worry about Boston and Milwaukee in the beginning of the season, like coming out the gate, see who's the hottest team.
Right. Yeah, I agree. All right. For me, I'm gonna say Cat and OG. And that the Knicks, when we're heading into All-Star break, the Knicks are going to be in second place in the Eastern Conference. And like maybe like a half a game or within 1.5 games of
The Celtics.
of the Celtics.
Agree.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, our last two categories before we get let me just ask this real quickly.
Mhm.
Before we get into the team win total and where we'll finish in the Eastern Conference, will the Knicks have a top 10 defense, top 5 or top 10 defense?
5,
Okay.
both offense and defense.
Okay. Jeff?
I think it's going to take a bit. I think by the end of the season we'll be top 5, but by the All-Star break, I think it'll be like 10 to 12, and then by the end of the season, I think it's in the top 5. I definitely think we've got a top 5 offense right at the gate.
Okay. Ajay? Top
I
5,
think
top 10 offense, defense.
top 5 both. Definitely top 5 offense. Defense, I'm leaning towards top 5, but that may not happen. Yeah, because in the beginning of the season we're a little bit all over the place. But like Jeff said, probably by the end of the season we'll tighten it up.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're going to have a top 5 offense and a top 10 defense, which includes the top 5. Which
I was
includes
about to say that. It's getting late, Steph.
I think I think we're going to be like between I don't know.
Bottom 5, like 6 to
Some
7.
wing stoppers, and then you're talking about if Cat takes just a little step. Cat is similar to Randall in the sense it's not that they can't play defense, and they play a different type of defense. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's their willingness to play defense consistently.
Mhm.
That's really what it is. The willingness. But yeah, we're gonna have a top 5 offense and at least a top 10 defense. All right. So let's get to the last 2 categories. Team win total. And you could do a range if you want to do a range. That's fine. A 5-game range is fine, or 3-game range is fine.
I'm going to go 54 to 59. 5-game range.
Say that again. 52 to 59.
54 to 59.
Wow. Right. Anybody else?
50 to 55.
I'm
50 to 55.
I'm gonna go 55. I think we'll be 5-game better than last season. 55, 57, but most likely we'll probably be 5-game better than last season. And by the way, if we did make the trade, I also thought we'd be 5 games better than last season.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 48 to 53, only because I think this Eastern Conference is really good. But I've said this earlier, that's still gonna get the Knicks first or second. I just feel like the Eastern Conference, everybody is going to be beating up on each other. I just don't think there's a lot of wins to go around. Like these teams are these top 8 teams, I should say, are pretty stacked. So the Knicks have gotten better, but the Eastern Conference has gotten better too. So I'm going to say 48 to 53. But when we get to this, which really matters, where do the Knicks finish in the Eastern Conference? I'm going to say the Knicks will finish second in the Eastern in the Eastern Conference.
Agreed. Second for me.
Second or third?
Better be second. If it's third, it's a drop from last season. It better be second.
I don't look at it that way though.
Yeah, last season was was different. You had a broken down Philly team where Embiid didn't play for a good portion of the season. Milwaukee got injured down the stretch. And the Knicks won 50 games and that second spot, like the last game of the season or the last 2 games of the season.
Queen, you also had a broken down, unhealthy Knicks team.
That's true. Also,
That's true. Also,
that's true.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be like the paragon of health either, though. First of all, Robinson's already out.
Queen, hit it.
I know. I was
You ready for them sirens?
You got to expect some of those guys are going to miss some time. That's all I'm going to say.
That's true too. Like my prediction is just barring health. Obviously, like we have to be relatively healthy for my total to come up. Like if we're not, like say if OG miss a lot of games or Cat miss a lot of games, then yeah, we won't win. Obviously, won't win that many.
Yeah. If we're third, Geoff, who's the top 2 for you?
Well, not sure. I said 2 or 3. Milwaukee could be really good. This Boston is tough. There's a lot of good teams out there. Cleveland had a good regular season last year. You know, there's a lot of teams that Indiana potentially could be really good. There's a lot of teams that can sneak in there. Remember, it was not a very big margin. I mean, we won it on the last day of the season. We could have finished anywhere from 2nd to 5th, yes, depending on how we did in the last 3 games of last season. So, you know, and in February when we went 4-8, everyone was like, "We're a playing team." So, you know, fortunes change pretty quickly. You know, and so, you know, I don't necessarily know who the teams above us would necessarily be, but I'm going to echo what you said, and there's enough good teams in the Eastern Conference that to be in the top 3 is good position.
Yeah. And I don't think Boston is going to win as many games. Like I feel like the Eastern Conference is that much better. So if I got the Knicks at 47-53, I got Boston probably at what, 55, 56. Like I don't think Boston is going to win as many games as they won last year either. I think the Eastern Conference is just that much better. So I think everybody's win total comes down. Yeah. So anything else? So we got pretty much the Knicks finishing 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see how Milwaukee plays. Second year with Dame, be a little more comfortable. I think they're going to be better than people think they are, to be honest. I don't think
if
they're going to be.
Giannis is healthy, they're going to win 50-plus games. Let's be honest. Antetokounmpo's that good. Like if he's healthy, they're going to be right around 50 wins. They always are.
Yeah.
And everything you hear about Dame, he's
Locked in.
and locked in on having a better season this year. People think he's fallen off. Like that's his thing. People think I fell off. People think I'm not that same guy. So he has something to prove. Who did he work out with? That Goggins guy, that Navy SEAL, the Goggins guy who wrote that book on the Navy SEAL. And he was, if you read that book, he was. So he worked out with him, basically.
Dame gonna be on a mission this year.
He worked out doing what with the Navy SEAL? Where you go? UFC fight?
I think it's David Goggins. What do you say?
I forgot his name. He said he was doing.
Basically, he's gonna be in the best shape of his life, and he's gonna be ready.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, he's working Navy SEAL. I thought he's getting ready for the UFC.
He could. Shoot, never know.
Yeah. All right. Any last words? Shout out to the chat. Oh, let's go through the chat really quick.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Salute to the chat and go through them real quick.
Really quick. This is when we're talking about, the guys who are gonna leap, those who will be loose. Shout out to Mega. Pops one, Mike Deuce McBride will lead the bench. Or Deuce or Cam will lead the bench. Jabroni Z, Deuce will average 13, 15 points off the bench. I would love that for that to happen. That would be awesome. Darkosaurus X Rex, campaign been playing his ass off. Yeah, he's been on a mission too. I'm surprised. Listen, the way he plays, man, I'm surprised we got that guy for $1 million or whatever.
The minimum. I think it's
the
3.
minimum. 3.1.
But was it you, Ajay? Somebody said when we were like, campaign is going to be I never thought that, but somebody, campaign is going to be situational, and somebody said campaign is going to have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Forgot who that was. That was you?
No, that wasn't me. I said I really disliked that guy when he played against us. I couldn't stand him.
I do remember Ajay did say he didn't.
Oh my God, that guy.
Yeah, but the campaign ain't no bum, yo. Like he got kicked out of the league at one point. Like he hungry. So
this one I highlighted for Queen. I can't believe we were talking about trading Deuce for Richards of the Hornets.
At the time when we didn't have a center, everything was on the table.
Yeah, we didn't have a center.
And I think without Dante, Deuce becomes a little bit more indispensable.
Right.
I think the lineup just needs McBride more than it did. You know, remember it was going to be Deuce and Josh Hart off the bench. You know, till all this came down about a month ago.
Right. Right. To your point, we had Dante DiVincenzo, so that was a little different. Now, without Dante DiVincenzo, it does change things, and we have a center now.
And remember, we went through a whole lot of conversations, so some of these things are not in order.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you know, Travis Ryan, TJ Warren better than Shamet. ADF, TJ Burks Warren. He could be an Alec Burks. So he could be an Alec Burks coming off the bench. Jabroni Z, Huck Party has impressed me. I have to eat crow about what I said about him. He played better than I thought also in the preseason, the few minutes that he got.
He played better than me. He played. Nobody said he wasn't a good player. Well, I didn't say he wasn't a good player. I just said when we were talking about needing a center, I wasn't thinking about Huck Porty, and I'm still not. You know,
that's funny, man.
But I like him for the future.
Yeah. Trash B Ryan, Kolick is terrible in defense. I like him, but that defense trash. Nostalgic Nick. He's a Knicks have that. I remember that he said Knicks got a future point guard, wing, and center. Wow. So I guess he's talking about Kolick, Dodiet, and Huck Porty.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be talking about guys taking dark horses, not taking a leap or dark horses. Trav B is going to be OG.
Mm-hmm.
If campaign could just shut down TJ McConnell, the Knicks nemesis, we got somebody for him now.
If he does that, build him a statue.
For real, I would love to see him go at it with the McConnell for real.
Yeah.
Kevin Bergen, if we finish third, we can still make the Eastern Conference final, in my opinion. I don't even care where we finish in the seeding. We better make it to the Eastern Conference final at a minimum.
But I think the seeding helps, though.
Yeah, the seeding helps. It's all about
Seeding
matchups.
matters.
It's all about matchups in the playoffs.
But you know what, though? We ended up second seed last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not gonna top Boston. I at least I don't think so. So this season, if we finish, let's say third or fourth, but we make the Eastern Conference final, that's an improvement, right? It's not where it's not where you finish in it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
no doubt about it. But what I'm saying is, seeding matters for home court advantage. You know, for if it goes to a game 7,
right?
Yeah. I disagree, Kevin Bergen. He said, I think we're that good that the seeding won't matter.
I
You'll be worn down by the time you get to the Eastern Conference finals.
This is a new team. It's going to take some time. I agree. You know, that's the chemistry. And we're talking about the wins for the season. Nostalgic Nick thinks 55 win. Kevin Bergen 50 wins
It's the floor.
is the floor. Agree. I mean, that's what we did last season, right? We have to improve. What else? What else? Oh, and last but not least, Keith Turner. It's preseason, guy. Nobody really cares. Hello, we are Knicks fans. Okay, we care. We care about practice. You know, which team won in practice, the blue team or the orange team.
I think he said that when I said when we was talking about the Hornets game, like either they didn't take it that seriously, we shouldn't have beat them like that with none of our starters. Maybe they didn't care about the preseason.
Or maybe they weren't expecting the Knicks to bring the heat
from the bench.
They was locked in. You know, these Tibbs team, they locked in to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
And this was their opportunity to show, you know, what they could do. They was locked in like it was a championship game.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's it. You know, that's it. Shout out to the Chapman for being like super active.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we 82 likes, not bad, but you know, we could still make it to 100, man. Hit the like button. Still got time.
Hey, salute to Nick Yak. He just came in the chat talk about Huck Porty.
Man, Nick Yak late.
He been screaming his name.
He late for the night we have the Huck party.
We talked about him earlier, man.
You missed it. You gotta watch it on the replay.
Yeah, but he did his thing though. Did his thing.
Yeah. All right.
Any last words?
Man. Salute to everybody. Salute to the chat. It was a good show as always. We was up here, 2.5 hours?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like a Marvel movie. And y'all was locked in with us the whole time. Like, yeah, salute to y'all, man. Dope Soul Thursdays, you know how we do.
Yeah, for sure. Monday, I'll be on the Queen's Court. Back with my Mondays on the Queen's Court, Nothing But Knicks channel. And then I'll be doing the game recaps the afternoon after the Knicks play on your lunch break, sometime between, 12:15 and 12:45. Particularly on a Tuesday and Wednesday when when I'm working. But yeah, I appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys was rocking with us hard. And was super active, and you guys always show up for us, so we definitely appreciate you. Follow me on IG, DopeSoulSports.life. I'll be posting there about the Knicks. I'll also be posting my vacation pictures. I'm actually off to the Bahamas November 8th through the 11th, so if you're interested in my life outside of the Knicks, follow me at DopeSoulSports.life. And the other favor I need is I want to stream to Facebook. But in order to stream to Facebook now, you have to have at least 100 followers. And so I think on Facebook, I'm like at 70 something, right? So this is a free way to support the channel. Just go to the Dope Soul Sports Talk page on Facebook. Subscribe. Is it a subscribe? Facebook is a follow, right?
Follow, yeah.
Yeah. Follow the page. And then once I get to 100, I can then go back to streaming to Facebook. I'm trying to stream to X. I got premium. I didn't recognize the charge because it was just an X. I'm like, who the hell is this? So I reported it as fraud. Now, whenever I try to sign up for premium, it's not accepting my payment. You cannot reach anybody. If anybody worked for X, you try to reach premium support, you got to be a premium member. Premium support.
That's like the oldest thing you did that I've heard you say.
Right. Like, nope, I ain't recognized the child. Listen.
nothing about no X.
That's sure I did. I was like, what the hell is this?
X $9.
My
Oh
bad,
no.
right away.
What is like X $9.99? Who the heck? No. Shut that down quick. Take my $10. You crazy. No.
And now I can't support. They got specific topics for support. If it ain't one of those topics, you're not getting in. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah, you gotta think about how many people use Twitter. So so many people probably complain about them all the time. So
right. Yeah. So I'm trying to get back on X, get my premium membership so I can stream to X as well. Oh gosh.
man, you
Anyway.
DM Elon, man. He be on there.
Who's that?
Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter or whatever. Go ahead, DM
I
him.
might have to DM. Yeah.
He be tweeting all the time. I'm pretty sure a lot of people try to DM him though. He might not see that.
Probably so.
He might not see that.
Anyway, we appreciate you.
Real quick before we go, Steph,
yes.
everybody in the chat, like before you leave, 100 people still watching. Just hit the like button on your way out.
Yes.
That's all.
Definitely.
Make sure you check out Die Hard Giants for Jerrell too. He's got a good show over there.
Yeah, thank you, Geoff. I think that like the Giants, it's just Freudian slip all the time that I just don't talk about them. Just because I don't want to. Like I don't never talk about my show because in the back of my mind I don't want to talk about the Giants, but I almost have to. So,
Right.
But thank you for that though. The Die Hard Giants every Tuesday at 9:00.
Yes, definitely. I will be there. The Liberty play tomorrow. The Knicks play tomorrow. Tape that Knick game. I know we diehard Knick fans. Watch the Liberty live. It's a preseason game. Tape the Knicks and watch the Liberty bring this chip home.
Or watch both. Y'all, everybody got two screens somewhere. Watch both games.
I'm picture in picture. I got the TV
Yeah,
on
you got a phone.
one on the tablet over here.
Yeah, I got two monitors. I got an iPad. You can watch both games. But yeah, definitely watch the Liberty though. They in the finals. They about to win a chip. Or knock on wood, they should be. Hopefully.
Right.
Jerrell, you said it right the first time. They about to win a chip.
Nah, man, I don't like touching the money, man. Don't say that. Don't do that, man.
I hear that.
Nah, all of a sudden we hit a pivotal game 5. No, I ain't trying to hear that, LJ. No.
Speak it into existence, man. Like we win a chip. Finally.
Right. True and Living on Facebook. I'm Dope Soul Sports Talk. So just the name of the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk. Again, anybody who came in late, just follow me at Dope Soul Sports Talks. Once I get 100 followers, I think I'm at 70 something.
Facebook.
They just put that in. I was streaming to Facebook, but apparently they have a new requirement that you have to have at least 100 followers. So Facebook, Dope Soul Sports Talk, get me to 100 so I can start streaming this show and all the other shows to Facebook as well. And I'm gonna have to, shout out to Elon Musk and see if I can.
He busy this week. You're not getting him this week. He's not available.
She saw X and told the bank to shut it down. Who is that?
It was just like, oh my God, what the hell is that?
That's funny.
Oh man. Anyway,
try to get your $10, Steph. I'm good.
Right. Until next time, family.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine.